and today we are going to proceed with the next topic, epididymis, from the male reproductive system. Now, children, in the last videos we have discussed about that what was the internal anatomy of testis. We have also discussed about seminiferous tubules, and today we are going to move ahead with the next structure, epididymis. Now children, you can see on the right side of me, I have drawn this diagram, and this diagram is comprising of the whole testis structure. Now here, in the last videos we have finished till here, that means your rete testis. Now we are moving ahead. This greenish portion, you can see, it is your vas efferentia. Now after this purplish color tube, highly coiled tube-like structure is your epididymis, and that only we are going to discuss today in this session. Now, epididymis, which is responsible for functional maturation of sperms. This we will be starting little later, that what do you mean by functional maturation of sperm. But first we should go to the parts of the epididymis. That is, your epididymis comprises of three parts, and these three parts are caput epididymis, corpus epididymis, and cauda epididymis. These are the three parts which we are going to discuss now diagrammatically, that which part of epididymis is called caput, corpus and cauda. Now children, caput is the uppermost part of the epididymis. Corpus is the middle part of epididymis, and cauda is the terminal part of epididymis. So that means in the diagram which you can see, the highly coiled-like structure, this tube, this is divided into three parts. Now children, this part which is located on the top, on the head of the vas efferentia. This is vas efferentia, and above this part is called as head of epididymis. So this head is highly coiled tube-like structure. So all the vasa efferentia now collectively moving into a highly coiled-like structure, and these highly coiled-like structure forms the head of epididymis, and this part is called as caput. Caput epididymis. For learning, you can call it as cap. Where do we wear cap? We wear cap on the heads. So cap, by the word cap, you can remember that caput is the structure, or it is the part of epididymis which is located on the head of epididymis, and it is highly coiled-like structure. Now children, moving down, you can see that this highly coiled-like structure is convoluting into a narrower part. It is convoluting into a narrow part. So this middle portion of the epididymis is called as corpus. Corpus means it is making the body structure. It is making the in-between part of the epididymis. So this corpus is the middle section. It is the middle part of the epididymis. Then children, the last part of the epididymis is cauda. It is cauda. What do you mean by caput? Caput can be considered as head. And what do you mean by cauda? Cauda can be considered by the word tail. So this cauda epididymis is forming the tail of epididymis. It is forming the tail. It is the last part of epididymis. So in this way we can say that epididymis is made up of three parts, that is your caput, which is forming the head-like structure, and it is highly coiled. Then we are having in between corpus, which is the middle part or forming the body of epididymis. And then then we are having the terminal part, the basal part, which is forming the tail of the epididymis, called as cauda epididymis. Now children, we are moving to the next part over here. You can see that I have written that epididymis is functional maturation of sperms. It is responsible for functional maturation of sperms. It comprises of caput epididymis, corpus epididymis, cauda epididymis. Now children, one more important term is there which we need to understand, and that is your ampulla. Ampulla means a swollen part. Swollen part. If suppose a tube is passing in this way. A tube is there. And then suddenly the tube swells up in this form. So this swollen portion is called as ampulla. This swollen part is called as ampulla. Anywhere, in any of the structure, if a long tube is there and suddenly it gets swelled up, then that swollen portion is called as ampulla. Now, which one is ampulla in the epididymis? Now children, this is the cauda epididymis, and this cauda epididymis is highly coiling up, and then it is reduced coiled up, and then it is opening into a swollen part, and this swollen part is called as ampulla. This is one of the most important questions for the competitive exams, and especially it has been asked in the NEETs also. Now, it has been asked that ampulla is the part of epididymis or vas deferens. So, children, here you can see that we are ending up with cauda. Here your cauda is ending. It is getting over here. Then from here your epididymis is starting. Epididymis is emerging from here. So children, ampulla is the part of vas deferens. Ampulla is the part of vas deferens. It is not the part of cauda epididymis. So this was one of the most important questions for the competitive part, that ampulla belongs to which part of male reproductive system. So ampulla belongs to vas deferens. So hope you have understood what is ampulla. Ampulla is a swollen part where your cauda epididymis is running, and then this cauda epididymis, suppose this is cauda epididymis, and from here your vas deferens has started. So this cauda epididymis over here, it gets swelled, फूल जाता है, and this is swelled up, and then the tube of vas deferens is moving. So this swelled portion is called as ampulla. So ampulla is a part of vas deferens. Now children, this vas deferens and epididymis develops from Wolffian duct of embryo. Now, what is Wolffian duct? During the embryal stage, when embryogenesis is taking place and your development in the embryo is taking place inside the mother womb, during that time, many type of ducts are formed. During the duct formation, a type of duct called as Wolffian duct is also formed. So, your vas deferens and plus your epididymis is developed from this Wolffian duct of the embryo. Then it is written that your epididymis can store temporarily sperms, and it is a functional responsible for functional maturation of sperms. Now again, for the competitive point, this point is very important. From here, two questions can be formed. It's written here that epididymis can store temporary sperms in it. Epididymis is a place where your sperms are stored. You know that sperms are produced inside the seminiferous tubules. Then these sperms are passing into reti testis. Then they are passing through vas efferentia into epididymis. So inside the epididymis, the sperms can be stored. Now for how long the sperms can be stored? About a month. About for a month, these sperms can be stored in the epididymis. It is not necessary that always the sperms will be produced and it needs to be released. It needs your storage is also there. So in the epididymis, your sperms can be stored for about a month. And then the next question comes that your epididymis is responsible for the functional maturation of sperms. What is functional maturation? Functional maturation means that primary maturation, primary stage. There are sperms are going to mature into two parts, primary maturation and secondary maturation. Primary maturation takes place inside the body of male and secondary maturation takes place inside the body of female reproductive tract, that is during capacitation. So during capacitation we will be studying that part, we will be studying later on. But here we are going to discuss about that your functional maturation of sperms, primary functional maturation of sperms takes place in the epididymis. So primary development takes place over here. And one thing more, the mobility of the sperms when they are passing through the epididymis is not very fast. It is at slow pace. The movement is taking slowly. So slowly they are moving and it can be stored inside the epididymis for about a month, and the primary development, the primary maturation or the functional maturation of sperms is completed in the epididymis. Now children, we are moving to the next part of male reproductive system, which is your vas deferens and ejaculatory duct. Now in the last part we have seen that your vas deferens was emerging from epididymis. So your vas deferens is arising from cauda epididymis. Cauda was the terminal end, last part of the epididymis. So from there a very thin straight tube was moving out, and that thin straight tube is called as vas deferens. So it arises from cauda epididymis. Now children, the second sentence I have noted and it has to be paid attention. What it's writing over here, saying over here, it ascends to abdomen. It means that vas deferens is ascending to abdomen. Then second point is passes over the urinary bladder. This is the second important point. And the third important point is that it receives the duct from seminal vesicle behind urinary bladder, forming ejaculatory duct. Now this line we need to understand by the diagram. Now the next part is saying that duct passes through the prostate to open into urethra, forming urinogenital duct. Now children, these 2 points are very important to understand, and we will try to understand with the help of diagram. You try to remember that in the second point, 3 important points are there. That first, it is ascending to abdomen. Second, it is passing over the urinary bladder. And the third, it is receiving duct from seminal vesicle. So we'll try to understand with the help of diagram. Now we'll try to understand with the diagram. Now this is testis. This is epididymis. And I told you that vas deferens arise from cauda epididymis. So this is the cauda epididymis. Cauda means tail, last part. So your vas deferens is arising from cauda epididymis. Now vas deferens is moving ahead. It ascends. Remember children, it ascends to the abdomen. While studying your testis, we have studied that during the 7th month of developmental period, your testis descends from abdomen into the extra-abdominal cavity. Descends. It is moving down in a descending order. It is moving down. But here I am talking about that your vas deferens ascends. It is moving ahead. It is moving high to the inner part. So suppose that this is the extra abdominal cavity. This area is extra abdominal cavity. And from extra abdominal cavity, this vas deferens passing through inguinal canal is moving inside the abdomen, inside the body of a male. So it is moving inside. So your vas deferens is ascending to the abdomen. Hope this first point is clear. So what do you mean by ascending? That it is from extra abdominal cavity, it is moving to the abdominal part. So now the second point, it passes over the urinary bladder. So this vas deferens, this is urinary bladder. This vas deferens is passing over the urinary bladder. This is passing over the urinary bladder. This is the second important point. And the third important point was that this vas deferens combines with the or joins with the duct of seminal vesicle to form a ejaculatory duct. Now this has to be paid attention. This was your vas deferens and this is your seminal vesicle. This seminal vesicle is forming a tube-like structure over here. It's forming a tube-like structure. So this is a tube. This is a duct. This is a duct of seminal vesicle and this vas deferens is coming. These are the two ducts. Two short ducts. This ejaculatory, your vas deferens duct and this one is your seminal vesicle duct. These two ducts meet at a point and they form a short tube, short duct, and this duct is called as ejaculatory duct. This is your ejaculatory duct. That vas deferens passing over the urinary bladder and joining with the duct of seminal vesicle to form a short ejaculatory duct. Now, the next point which was very important to understand, that this ejaculatory duct passes from behind the urinary bladder. If this is your urinary bladder, so this ejaculatory duct will be passing behind the urinary bladder. This pipe is not going to move from front. This pipe, this ejaculatory duct is behind. This is your urinary bladder duct, urethral duct, and this is your ejaculatory duct. So this ejaculatory duct is passing from behind the urinary bladder. So here this opening of urinary bladder is called urethra. You know it. So when ejaculatory duct is passing from behind urinary bladder, so the urethral opening is also opening into the ejaculatory duct. So here is your urinary bladder and your suppose this is your urinary bladder and the urethra is coming out from here and here from behind your ejaculatory duct is going. So the urethra will be joining to it. Urethra will be joining to this your ejaculatory duct in this way. And you know that urinary bladder is responsible for the storage of urine. It is a reservoir for urine. So urine will be released through urethra into the ejaculatory duct. Now this part is not called as ejaculatory duct. Now when the duct of ejaculatory duct and urethra, when they joins to form your combined duct or a combined tube-like structure. So this tube-like structure now is called as urinogenital duct. And this urinogenital duct, commonly it is responsible for the passage of urine as well as sperm. So sperms produced in the testis, passing through epididymis, passing through vas deferens, passing through your seminal vesicles and all, the sperms will be coming into ejaculatory duct. Now this ejaculatory duct passing from behind the urinary bladder, urine passage will also be coming into the pipe and sperm is also traveling through the pipe. Now this pipe becomes the common opening for urine also and for sperm also. So this is called as urinogenital duct. Hope this whole structure is clear with the help of diagram. Hello children, now we are moving with the next part of male reproductive system, that is your urethra. Now, for the competition point of view, this topic is not so much important. But as it is part of male reproductive system, we need to study it. Now children, you are knowing very well that your male reproductive system, your male urethra is known as urinogenital duct. And this urinogenital duct is a common pathway for the passage of sperms and urine. What we are not knowing is the three parts. That your urethra is comprising of three parts. The first is prostatic urethra, the second is membranous urethra, and the third one is penile urethra. And this penile urethra opens in the last part of the penis, which is called as glans penis. So these three parts we need to understand in the diagram now, that where these parts are located. Now children, this was your vas deferens. This is your seminal duct, seminal vesicle and seminal duct. Now this seminal duct is opening into a small duct called as ejaculatory duct. Now these two are prostate glands. These two structures are prostate gland. So the part of urethra which is near the prostate gland. So this part of urethra is called as prostatic urethra. So the names are very common. By the learning names and memorizing names in case of urethra is very easy, because they are all located, they are all named after their locations. So prostate gland is located. The part of the urethra which is passing through or which is very near to the prostate gland is called as prostatic urethra. Then this whole portion is covered by a sphincter. Sphincter is a membranous structure. It is a covering. It is a cap-like structure. So that membranous sphincter is over there, and that membranous sphincter is called as, so the urethral part which is passing through that membranous sphincter is called as membranous urethra. So this is passing through that membranous area. This part is passing through the membranous sphincter. So this part of the urethra is called as membranous urethra. Now children, the last part of urethra is penile urethra. And by the name you can know, penile has been made from penis. So the part of urethra which is passing through the penis, this region is called as penile urethra. So by the name it is very common to learn that prostatic urethra, membranous urethra and your penile urethra. So the part of urethra which is near the prostatic gland is called as prostatic urethra. The part of urethra which is near the membranous sphincter, that is called membranous urethra, and this urethra, when it is entering into the penis, then it is called as penile urethra. Now this penile urethra is ending up at the end, this portion at the end, at the tip of the penis, and this part is called as glans penis. Now we are moving to the last part of male reproductive system, or we can say that till yet we were studying about the accessory reproductive parts, and penis is the last part of that accessory reproductive parts. Now children, according to competition point of view, this structure is also not so much important, but we have to study as it is a part of the male reproductive system. So you all know that penis is also called as copulatory organ. Now what do you mean by copulatory? Copulatory means a process. This penis is used for the process of copulation. Now what is copulation? Development of relationship. During sexual intercourse, penis is utilized. So that is why this part is called as copulatory organ. Now this penis is vascular in structure, spongy, and it is erectile. Erectile means that the penis can get erect. It can get tightened and it can get straight. The structure can get erect also. So your penis is vascular, spongy, and it is erectile structure. Then your glans penis, just now in the last topic of urethra we have discussed that the last part of penis is glans penis. So this glans penis is located at the tip of the penis covered with fold of skin called as prepuce. This we will be understanding with the help of diagram. Now surrounding the urinogenital duct, corpus spongiosum and corpora cavernosa. These are the two parts which are present in the part of penis. So these 2 points, children, we need to understand with the help of diagram. Now your penis also serves to transfer sperm into the vagina of female reproductive system during the intercourse process. So you are knowing it now that penis is called as copulatory organ and it is helping in transfer of sperms into the female reproductive tract. Now children, we need to understand these 2 points diagrammatically, that how the structure of penis is meant. So children, now with the help of diagram, now in the diagram you can see that I have drawn the structure of penis. This is the structure of penis. Here I told you that this part is called as glans penis. The tip of the penis is called as glans penis. This is your penis, glans penis. Now this part of your penis is called as corona. And I told you that at the tip, fold of skins are present and these fold of skin is called as prepuce. Now children, this main internal tube you can see, this is your urethra, or we can call it urinogenital duct. So this main part of the urinogenital duct, with what was it? It was your perineal urethra. So this perineal urethra or the urinogenital duct is surrounded by 2 types of layers. So you can see that this urinogenital duct is lined up with a structure called as corpus spongiosum, and this corpus spongiosum is lined up with another layer called as corpora cavernosa. So children, this is the structure of the penis which is used for the transfer of sperms into the vagina of the female reproductive system during intercourse process. So this was about whole explanation of your accessory reproductive parts of male reproductive system, and hope this whole session or this whole topic is clear to you all and everything is understandable also. Thank you.